We visited Badlands National Park in South Dakota during the summer of 2019. If you would like to get notices when I post again, be sure to subscribe right here. Just click on that button. This became a national monument in 1939 and then a national park in 1978. It has approximately 250,000 acres. Now if we go south into the Badlands, but before we get there we stop at Cactus Flats and see the white prairie dogs. Notice these are not albinos, their eyes are black instead of pink as they would have been. They're without melanin, but there are some brown ones here also.
Most of the prairie dogs in this town are white, although there are a few that are still brown. They're enjoyable to watch, and it's worth stopping just to check them out.
And now we come to the sign for Badlands National Park. This is a large park scattered over much area. We're going to be driving through the northern part on this route and then down through Pine Ridge Indian Reservation to see the southern area also before going to Wounded Knee. It's spectacularly beautiful. We go through the gate, show them our pass, and then right on the other side of the gate is our first stop, Big Badlands Overlook. We're up on a plateau, looking down over the plains below at the Badlands. It would be very hard to travel through this, you might imagine. It was called the Wall of the Badlands. This area is rich in fossils. Some of the ridges around here look so sharp it looks like if you touch them you'd cut yourself. Next we drive on down and come to the Castle Trail parking. We're going to stop here and look a while also. This gets its name for many of the formations in this area look like large castles that have fallen into ruin. Moving on along down the road, we come to the window. Next we'll stop at Cliff Shelf Nature Trail and look there a while. We're about to head down into the valley below. Down there is the visitor center we'll be at in a few minutes. Next stop is the Ben Raphael Visitor Center. It has a small museum in it. We're going to look around there. The museum basically deals with the fossils that have been found here. Now we head on through the Badlands. Can you imagine traveling through this and having to pick your way? There are routes through it as we show by driving through it, but you'd have to know where you're going or you'd run into many box canyons. And then as we come around a bend, there's a whole bunch of cars parked. They're looking at Bighorn Sheep. There's a group of several males here, rams, and some of them seem to be getting ready to practice for the rut season. Next we're going to stop at Fossil Trail, and we're going to park there and look at the trail. It's about a quarter of a mile long, and we're going to look at where they found a lot of those fossils. This was their fossil beds, and see some of them in the ground still. No, Deborah, you can't pick up the real fossils. You can only touch the replicas. A little bit further down the road, we're back up on top of the plateau and at Homestead Overlook. Some unusual colors are coming out, and as we get the Canassa Basin overlook, we see even more of them. The road then winds down to Yellow Mound's overlook for an even closer look at these spectacular colors. Next we come to Pinnacle's overlook. And then as we head on down the road, over there on the left, you can see the white on her rear end is a bighorn female sheep. And we're going to stop and look at her a minute. She's collared, obviously, with a radio collar. Now we're going to head down the gravel road called Sage Creek Rim Road and stop at several places along the way and look out. First stop, Hay Butte Overlook. Further on down the road, we come to Roberts Prairie Dog Town. And we're going to stop here and look at the prairie dogs, obviously. The birds out there are meadowlarks. As we drive along, there's about a dozen prairie dogs right there on the side of the road. And this is the only bison we saw here, although there are many others around somewhere. Now we head on down the road. We're going to be going down off the plateau and heading south now. We'll be leaving right now the Badlands National Park Northern Unit and are jointly operated by the National Park and the Native Americans. This is the Stronghold Unit. The way we're driving, it's a fairly narrow unit, and now we're leaving it, but still, this brings us to the end of this video.